I like, click, subscribe, do all that other time it is. Netflix time. This movie's called The Old Ways. This movie came out last year. It's about an hour and a half long. Spoiler alert, let's just get it. So we start off with this little girl by the name of Christina, and they got her mom chained to this table, and she keeps telling her not to be afraid. So at this point, I don't know what the fuck to expect, but I expect her to turn into a fucking demon. Once she had turned to a demon, she ended up clawing her daughter's arm. Yeah, like what the fuck is going on with her teeth? So anyway, 20 years go by, and here we have Christina again, who was captured by this guy, and he asks her, what the heck were you looking for in La Boca? See, La Boca is the place that she grew up in. I guess after everything happened, she was able to go to the United States, she became a reporter, and she had another assignment to actually come back to her hometown. The problem is he believes there's some type of demon inside of her, and that's why he's got her chained up. He actually wants to help her. Of course, she don't believe that shit, and she's trying to pay him off, and obviously he's not gonna go for it. Then she asks him if you know somebody named Miranda, my fault. Then he leaves, all of a sudden this rooster pops out. Then this lady named Rouge shows up, telling her about this demon that's infested her body. Then the guy comes back and starts force feeding her goat's milk. And at this point, she's trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And at this point, all she really wants is her bag as she tries to break through for the chains. Then we get a flashback to what she was doing before she got captured. She was actually exploring these caves. Now, from what we're told, these caves are very demonic and have satanic spirits in them and whatnot. But then we go back to real time and she keeps hearing these loud noises, screaming, and basically voices in her head. Then she sees the rooster crowing around again. Okay, what is the deal with the rooster? Next day, the guy gets her a bucket so she can use the bathroom. Then she finally gets to talk to Miranda. See, Miranda's her cousin. She tried to explain that they're helping her or whatever about these curses and demons and all that stuff, but Christina thinks it's a bunch of bullshit. And I think a lot of this has something to do with all these scriptures on the wall. And I don't know the psychology of it, but if you do, help me out. So once again, Miranda's telling Christina basically they're trying to help you. She's like, look, can you at least find a way for me to get my bag? So she got her a bag and showed her a camera and then showed her pictures of the cave and showed her was like, look, it's nothing. But the thing is, they think it's already inside her anyway because of the fact that she went into the caves. So they left for a second and while she had her bag, she was able to get her phone and she got a compartment or something. She slipped the compartment under her pillow. She tried to use her phone and call some dude named Carson, trying to get help. But the guy took her phone, took her bag, and left up out the room. So at this point, Christina's basically thinking she's a prisoner. But the only reason she's halfway okay with this is because Miranda's there. I mean, it's not like her cousin's trying to keep her in solitude confinement, right? So basically, they don't want to leave until they exorcise this demon that's inside of her. Later on, while she's chilling, this little boy keeps coming in to look at her. She asks him for help, but then he runs away. And I'm thinking about stuff like, who is this little boy? And here comes the rooster again, just chilling. So we find out what's in that little compartment of hers is basically needles and dope. Might as well get high while you're in there, right? Then we get a flashback while she was at her desk before she took this job. She's talking to her boss, and the boss is trying to figure out why she actually took this assignment. Yeah, it wasn't assigned to her, she actually requested it. Throughout the conversation, we found out she had her reasons for going back to La Boca. She's high as shit at this point. She's completely fucked up in real life. Next day, we see her face all painted up. She's all tied up, and Lewis is actually performing an exorcism. Miranda's just chilling, looking over her. And she's pretty much stripped down to her bra and panties covered in blood and tied up on the floor. They tell her the symbol will come when you see it as they just leave her in there by herself. So while she's in there, a fucking big ass snake creeps in, and then another snake pops up. They start wrapping around her body. We think to ourselves, oh fuck. The ride to boot, my man comes in and snatches up both of them. Now how he got both of them at the same time, I have no idea. Then Luz placed her hand on her stomach so she could put the blood on the wall. I'm not sure if this was some type of trick to lure the demon to a false sense of security, but I guess it told them what they needed to know. After that, Christy and Miranda have a one-on-one conversation. She's like, aren't you helping me out in family? He was like, man, I haven't seen you in like 20 years. And Miranda's like, on top of that, you never thought you wanted to come back, did you? It's one of those back and forth family scenes. Then she actually starts feeding the rooster. Then she feeds herself to some dope getting fucked up. But before she could, she just fell out. Then she has this trippy ass nightmare about the caves, her mom, the demons, the visions. Then all of a sudden out the blue, her fucking thread just snatched up by nobody. Like, what the fuck just happened? Then she looks off into the corner. The sheet just has blood on it all of a sudden. She lifts it up, and the fucking rooster's under it. Done deal dead as shit. What the hell happened to the rooster? Now, they asked her if she could see the demon. She said she couldn't see nothing, but she felt sick. She's not really starting to believe yet, but she's sensing some bullshit. So Miranda gets Christy to read these books, even though she can't understand the language, but she in turn gives her a Spanish dictionary so she can understand it. Basically, books on trying to stop demons and curses and whatnot. And then Miranda's trying to get her to remember the past. Then she grabs Miranda by her arm, and she's like, man, I'm not going to survive this. But the way she grabbed her, it left marks on her hand. The same type of marks Christy's mom left or Christy's hand when she was little. Now she's trying to read these books, the candle keeps blowing out. She assumed it was from the fan she had blowing, so she turned the fan off, and she started reading about this dude named Poseki, or demon if you will. Once she got to his part, another candle blew out. But the fan's not even on. What the fuck is going on? Then all the candles on the wall started going out. So now you're thinking to yourself, what the fuck is about to happen now? She flicks a lighter on, looks off into the corner, and then the lighter goes out. What the hell is in that corner of the room? Next day pops up, she starts looking outside, and there's the little boy peeking at her again. Who is this guy? Is he gonna help her? Is he just being nosy? Like, what's his deal? Then Miranda comes in and gives her some old school trinkets. She gives her a doll to thwart off demons. Apparently, this was a doll that she had when she was little. And while she's talking, she keeps having more flashbacks about the cave. She tells Christy that she was found in the cave, indicating that somebody brought her to here. This is what starts to get her suspicious about Miranda. But before she can even put those thoughts together, here comes some exorcism shit. Louise comes through, starts digging in her gut. She pulls a ball out of her stomach. She cuts the ball open and apparently they're demon teeth. Then they go inside her again and pull out this long ass snake. It's like, what in all of the fuck does she have inside of her? And she's back in the room throwing up. So as she's talking to Miranda, she realizes through her flashbacks that Miranda was actually the one that brought her here. So basically it's Miranda's fault that she's even chained up there in the first place. Now she says she's trying to help her out, which clearly now she's got some demons inside of her. But Christy ain't trying to hear that shit. Later on she's looking at her doll and she thinks it's moving all of a sudden. I'm like, what the fuck? She's throwing a rock at it, but it was nothing but a rat behind it. But then she sees the rat start crawling around the ground. And then all of a sudden it gets smashed by a mysterious figure. It's like, what the fuck? So considering there's nobody in that room with her, I guess we could assume that's Helsinki. I don't know, this shit's crazy. But as he dragged his hand into the darkness, all of a sudden the rat was in her hands. I'm like, what the fuck? Dude comes to rescue her. She tells him to hit the dude's in the corner. But once he tries to shake the evil demon and the spirit out, she comes from behind and starts choking him out, but she just wants to put him to sleep. Basically, she about to get the keys, get the fuck up out of here. Gets the keys, get the bag, gets her phone. But she tries to walk out the door, she can't. It's like some type of visible force field is holding her in. Watch. It's like, what the fuck? It's crazy. I'm not even sure if it's the entity keeping her in or some type of demonic power. I'm kind of confused and baffled on this one. Then she starts coughing up and throwing up hair. And Reese reminding her once again, it's still inside you. So at this point, she ain't escaping, she ain't going nowhere. If it is a ghost belt, she apologizes to the old man, who now all of a sudden can understand what she's saying. She's like, really? You act like you couldn't speak English the whole time. Like, what's the deal? Then he tells his story about how his father had the curse and he wasn't able to get rid of it. He ended up dying because of it. If you look at him up close, don't he like a Manny Pacquiao a little bit? Like a little older version? Anyway. They end up playing dominoes. And after everything she's seen, after everything is going on, the story he's told, she's actually starting to believe this curse is real. She goes in the room the next day, dumps all the drugs that she had in there in the toilet, starts studying more about Poseki, what Laboka in the cave is really all about. And she wants to go through the real exorcism where he tells her it's going to be dangerous as shit, but she don't care. Then she has Miranda hold the camera up and she's going to do like a post-interview. And she talks about the real reason she came in the first place. She came here to die because of some of her past traumas and discretions. She knows she has a demon inside her. She's like, I'm not human. I'm more than that. She didn't exactly display it like that, but you get the point. And now time for the crazy-ass exorcisms. Is it time, Reese? It's time. They nail her arms down, but they don't exactly nail her down. They got these triangles with nails. They nail them to the ground, but she feels it in her hand. While they're doing these incantations, she's back at the cave again. Then we go back to her childhood where her mom turned into a demon. Come to find out this little boy was watching her back then. Wait, what the fuck? That was 20 years ago. How can it look the same for back then and in real time? Then she's going through the cave and she finds herself laying there. Then she turns around, Helsinki's behind her out of nowhere. She wakes up half her face clawed. So now you know, she definitely saw the demon. And she knows this motherfucker's in the room. Then she sees the boy out the corner and what the fuck is wrong with his teeth? Wait a minute, those are the same teeth she had in her stomach. And those are the same teeth her mom showed back then. What kind of demon is this boy and what does he represent? Man, this shit is crazy. Then all of a sudden, spirit energy is floating around in the room. Louise is using her powers. She's about to make the ultimate sacrifice. Then out of the blue, she grabs a heart. Apparently, it's the heart of Hoseki. She's about to cast him out into existence. You get this big-ass implosion. Next thing you know, it's daytime. Christy's sitting there with one eye looking all gangsta and shit. She checks the doors to see if she can walk out. And in fact, she can. So the demons got destroyed, right? That's the cost of Rui's life. Yeah, man, that shit is crazy. So main man goes to bury her. And after giving her a proper burial, he just dips out. So now it's just Christy and Miranda, just chilling, drinking goat's milk. So she gets a phone call from Carson and tells her, like, look, I'm in the area. I'll meet you to try to figure out what's good. Meanwhile, back in the house, Miranda checks on her arm. And her arm's grown even worse with the 4 marks. Oh, no. Christy comes back in, and that's right, she sees her arm. And yes, Hoseki didn't die. It only shifted over to Miranda. So Ruiz basically sacrificed herself for nothing. Christy's like, fuck that. We gonna find a way to beat this son of a bitch once and for all. Then Christy starts to see visions of Ruiz. And she knows she's gonna have to become her to defeat this monster, the demon. So they conduct a ritual again. And they pretty much do it in the same patterns, but then they're like, wait a minute. She's thinking to herself, this is what Poseki wants. She's thinking to herself, if I continue this, Miranda might end up dying. But now Poseki has inhabited her body, starts talking all demonic and shit. I don't know what she did, but the spirit ended up coughing up out of her body, hitting the ground and whatnot. But now it's time for the final beef. Then she removed the bandana, and she's got that same spirit eye Ruiz had. You are now the new spirit watcher. Miranda and them tried to run, but they was like, nah. Chrissy's like, fuck that, this shit's gonna keep chasing us forever, so I'm coming straight to it. Then it pops out right in front of her, Poseki. Then she stabs it and pulls something out of his stomach. Miranda goes to help out. She stabs the thing that came out of the stomach. It burns up and disappears. The spirit's been defeated. They hold a real ritual for Ruiz and all that. Thinking to ourselves, the spirits are finally defeated, but they're out the blue to kidnap somebody else. Turns out it's the guy Carson that Chrissy's been talking to the whole time. Now Chrissy is full-fledged, committed to cure people of demons. She looks into his eyes and finds out it's a demon inside of him. But of course he ain't gonna believe that shit right away. He like, what the fuck is this? She tells him like, look man, we just started these practices with bottom liners. We're gonna get this demon out of you. He keeps convincing himself he's gonna take her back to, you know, New York or whatever. And then she offers him the goat's milk because that's what helps when it comes to demons. And that's it. So here's my question. Where the heck did the boy go? Was he supposed to be some type of reincarnation of Helsinki or something? Or was he just another demon altogether? And if Helsinki is gone, what demon is inhabiting Carson? Could it be the little boy or could it be something totally different entirely? The Old Ways on Netflix. Check it out. Like, subscribe, do all that. Yo, no time. This look easy, all the easy best. Big. Could have got that slogan.